Hey everyone, your friendly neighborhood Pants is back with another video. Today we're doing a siege against R.E.D and RNGesus. I'm not sure if R.E.D is an acronym for something. R.E.D is, spelled like an acronym for something. But anyways, um, this is June 28th siege, which is my birthday, and I did horrible. My birthday was kind of a sad day for me, and it didn't help that I did just awful in siege. I've never done so bad. I only got 4 wins this whole siege, so not sure what all you'll get out of this except seeing me get wrecked. I hit this Smith guy in RNGesus a lot, and I just felt like I didn't have runes against him. Like I did no damage, and he hit so much harder. I'm not sure. Again, this is like 4 weeks ago at this point, so I don't remember everything very well. But it's likely that I was tilted and probably brought some dumb teams. This first one, Carcano, Savannah, Betta, I brought Jean, Tessarian, Praha, which before this siege was 3-0 for me. So I was thinking, pretty safe. And even looking at the start here, they're covered in dots and stunned and Oblivion dub. But you can see my Tessarion just seems to not do damage at all to him. Like he's so tanky. It's obviously that he had superior rune quality, and I guess this team is only safe if you have, better rune quality or at least equal. And in this case, I did not at all, and he got me good. So that's that one. Carcano, Savannah, Betta. That's a rough. I think it's my least successful offense so far this season, and mostly because of this siege, because I try to hit it a bunch and I keep getting wrecked by it. Since then, I have got some better teams against it, and just a couple weeks after this siege, we end up hitting RNGesus again, and I do much better that time. So it could just be I was not in the right mindset this siege, but anyways, see me quit out there. Alright, so we see we got a tower with Carcano, Molly, and Fuuki, Skogul, Triana, those guys. Carcano, Molly, Fuuki, I hear from plenty of people that it's just the best 4-star defense out right now, and it really is very, very oppressive. Fran, Kaki, Cyan, I saw one of my guildmates use, so I just copied it, and it works like a charm. That said, I don't think it's a safe, I don't think it's 100% safe. I'm of the mindset that nothing is really 100% safe, but there are things that are, 90% safe and 95% safe. So I get the win this time around. You'll see next one why I can confidently say that I don't think this team is 100% safe. It is pretty solid, but things can go wrong, and it's kind of making me want to re-rune my Cyan. But anyways, you'll see what I mean in this next battle. But here you can see it works like a charm. They got the win real quick. All right, so I figured if Fran Kaki Cyan works well, then Fran Fuuki Cyan should work just as well, and I was wrong. So again, I don't know. I haven't hit a whole bunch of Carcano, Molly, Fuukis. Our guild just hasn't seen them, so I haven't tested it against it very much. My guild also doesn't have any of these built, so I can't really just go and test it whenever, unfortunately. But you can see I got the kill on Carcano, and then my Fuuki immediately died, and now I'm in a 2v2 scenario with Fran and Cyan versus a Molly and Fuuki, which is just a recipe for disaster, obviously. Interestingly enough, I do get the kill on Fuuki, so I get to this very, very painful 2v1 scenario of Fran and Cyan versus a Molly. And that is not fun. And that's why I'm saying I think I kind of want to move runes on Cyan to be violent, maybe. I don't think destroy would be good. Maybe destroy on Fran and then violent Cyan whenever I go into these. I guess my worry with that is, I'd be missing out on the damage the fatal runes are providing. So if I don't get the kill on people, then that's no good either. So I don't know if that's the best idea, but it's an idea, and it'd be something I can test. If someone on my guild ends up making this, or if I find it in Guild War. I don't care as much about Guild War as I do Siege, so whenever I see things in Guild War, sometimes I'll playtest new things there. So one neat thing I did learn in my 25-minute fight with this Molly is, well, I'll say one thing is I really, really wish Comtuos would implement the same thing as RTA where they, have no draws. Well, you can technically draw in RTA, but they try to force a winner with the 10% attack up, 10% max HP down every so often after a certain length of time. I think implementing that into Siege would be just wonderful. I don't know what's stopping them from doing that. I think it would just be obviously an improvement, but I guess Comtuos has never been a big fan of implementing obvious improvements, or if they do, they implement them like in 10 years. Or I guess not in 10 years, the game's not that old, but they just take forever to make obvious improvements for whatever reason. But yeah, something like this is just so frustrating because you're in a 2v1 scenario where you have a support and a damage doer versus a support, so you think you can possibly get the win, but Molly's just so painful to play against. But maybe if I landed 2 bombs at once with a whole bunch of violent procs from Cyan, it'd be possible potentially. So that's what I'm thinking, maybe reruning whenever I go into this one next time. One thing I did learn about Molly's AI though in this long battle is she only uses her skill 2 cleanse and shield if she has 2 or more debuffs. So anytime she has 2 or more debuffs, or I should say greater than 1 debuff, or if she is less than 50% HP with 1 debuff. So once I learned that, I played to that advantage. Like instead of using Fran's skill 1 whenever I could potentially land an attack break while I had the bomb there, I didn't want that because I don't want her using the cleanse. So instead I would just heal Cyan even if he didn't need the heal, and using that strategy I could get Molly down really close to 10% or less HP, but then she would just finally proc to full health anyways. So it's after 25 minutes, like I said, I gave up because it's just too painful. So anyways, I don't know if I could have hit play and came back 4 hours from now and maybe I could have won, but I doubt it considering my AI would have to be genius and I'd have to get super lucky. So it's just it's an unfortunate loss, and hopefully I can prevent it with changing runes or just find a better team. I don't know if this team is 50-50 or if it's 75-25 or what, but anyways, we'll go on to the next one.
One pair of pants later.
Alright, so this next one is Carcano Molly Skogul, and I'm using Carcano Triana Fuuki. Whenever I see Molly, I think the Omnimushis or whatever they're called, because they don't care about the glancing and they hit hard. And particularly against Carcano, who also his passive is all about glancing. So as soon as Carcano died, they're lacking significant damage. Like their only damage is from Skogul, and it's only every few turns. So I think it's a pretty safe win. Like what could go wrong is just crazy violent procs from the Carcano before you kill him. If he kills your Triana and you're with Carcano Fuuki versus a Skogul, that's not good. So I think for sure you want to target Carcano first and get him down. I think most of the time in any Carcano defense, he's generally speaking the first target. It probably depends on what offense you're using and what the specific defense is, but it's like he can just one-shot people, or do 75% of their health in one hit. So I think he's someone you want to get rid of ASAP. Also, he's, generally pretty squishy, except for that Smith guy. That Smith guy just freaking tanky as can be. I mean, I know people do tanky builds, but like his base HP is like 9,000, something like that. So it's nothing crazy. So it's hard to make him tanky and still be, dealing a decent amount of damage and have a decent speed and crit rate and stuff. So I see more hybrid builds more often than tanky builds, but man, a tanky build is brutal. So anyways, got the win there. Alright, so here we have a Herteit Vigor Triana, which I generally just Lucian. Mirane makes my Lucian just hit super hard, and I feel like it's very safe. but this is one of the few times where I did not. Normally I hit for 20k, and on all 3 of these units I'm hitting for, I think I saw 17k was the max hit there. So they all have significant wind reduction. They had a shield set. Like, the guy built it to withstand Lucians, and he did well. Even with a Mirene, I couldn't win. I didn't have enough damage. And so I'm having, Vigor Triana and a 2v2 versus a Lucian and Mirene. I got no hope there. So, sad days. I wasn't expecting it to be so tanky and so much wind reduction. So, props to the runes. That's just a straight up rune quality loss. Like, he built it specifically to win against Lucians, and he did it well. Alright, so Carcano, Molly, Triana. I used Garo, Tractor, Bella. I was kind of proud of this team. This is kind of like my R.E.D team from last siege or a couple sieges ago that I was just kind of proud I came up with it. I guess it's nothing too crazy. My thought is they have 3 single target damage doers, so bring Garo. If you have no multi-hitters, the only way Garo dies is to a violent proc, which of course they got right there and almost killed him, which would have been just devastating. But anyways, then I also figured Tractor would be, taking Triana's hits and easily withstanding him. I also put Destroy Runes onto Tractor. Usually I have him on Vampire Revenge, but I put him on Vampire Destroy because I figured this would be a long one, and it was a pretty long one. But as soon as Carcano died, again, they're lacking damage. 2 supports versus a Garo and a Tractor. They're in trouble. I definitely could see this losing. Like, if I just never landed a defense break with Bella, or every time I did land it, they would be able to cleanse Carcano like immediately, and then, next time Carcano violent procs and actually kills Garo, then that's pretty much GG's there. So could certainly have lost, but it didn't. Thankfully, got a few wins this siege. Alright, so another Carcano, Betta, Savannah. This time I'm trying out Fang, Amelia, Juno. Juno, in this case, is filling the role of Praha in the other team to strip all of Betta's goodies, and Savannah's speed buff to hopefully land a bunch of dots on everyone, maybe get some stuns, and then Amelia to protect everyone with immunity, defense buff, and that kind of thing. Defense buff will make Fang hit quite a bit harder. Fang there to defense break and to soak up damage. But it did not work at all. I got pretty wrecked. So Amelia is a little tricky. I mean, I hear often that she's a free win monster, and I do win with her all the time. I mean, if you've watched the channel, I use her pretty much every siege, and I win with her a lot. But I want to call her necessarily a free win, just because if they cut in between you and your monsters when they don't have a defense break, then you're vulnerable. So it's not like it's permanent immunity. Like, I guess that's a misconception I think people say is, she provides permanent immunity, and she doesn't provide permanent immunity. She provides it all the time, but not all the time. So anyways, Fang dies pretty quickly. Then Amelia dies. You see Carcano crits her, lands defense break, and she's dead. And then I tilt and pause and keep going with my Juno, because who knows, maybe she can go off, but it's a 3v1 with Juno and a dismounted Savannah and Carcano and Betta for the revive. Even if I do kill Savannah, if Betta's still alive, she just revives her on her beast, so it's not pretty. So anyways, GG's on that one. So of course I have to try it again, this time with Jean, Leo, and Sen. Leo to mitigate the effects of Savannah's skill 3, Sen to soak up damage and not get defense broken, have a defense break himself and stuns. Jean, I just always have a lot of success with Jean, so I like to use her a lot. That said, did not work at all. Maybe if the RNG lined up a little bit different. You can see my Leo's kind of low. If Leo happened to get his skill 2 off and kill Betta, then maybe I would be in a pretty good spot. Even if it was like he immediately died afterwards and I had Jean and Sen versus Carcano Savannah, I think that's a 2v2 I could potentially win. But unfortunately, Leo dies before he can do skill 2, and I'm in a very nasty 2v3. So it's not a 2v3 I can win, unfortunately. So props to Smith again, just absolutely wrecking me. Which of course, if you ever tilt like this, you should just quit trying, you know, take a break, especially if you're already having a bad day like I was. I should have just like gave someone my account info, like one of my guildies, and had them do my siege for me, but I was determined, I guess, to beat the Smith guy. And so I try him again, because why not? And anyways, Carcano, Geogun, Perna. Just triple fire, make the Savannah, hopefully not crit ever, have a Perna just hit harder than anything. I ruined my Perna on attack, crit damage attack, and put Will on him. Normally I have Destroy on him. In this case, one of Will runes, and I wanted him to hit hard, and he did hit hard. So, anyways, I finally get the stars to align, and this worked. I mean, yeah, he brings Savannah back on her beast, but I just defense break her again and kill her immediately. And now Betta's skill 2 is on a higher cooldown. Some mermaids, whenever they use their skill 2, if they happen to revive someone with their skill 2, then it's going to increase the cooldown. I think it doubles it, so it's pretty significant. I crit through the anti-crit with Perna. I land my strips with Geogun, and I finally get the win. So take that, Smith, get wrecked. Alright, so last one here is against Carcano, Vigor, Triana. I brought Sabrina, Talia, and Triana, which before this siege I had never lost with Water Twins into this comp. But why RNGesus? That was kind of my catchphrase all siege. They got good runes. I don't know what to say. They got good runes and they got good RNG. I thought for sure it'd be an easy win, but it was not. The Triana is on a crit damage build, lands sleep. Whenever a Triana is on a crit damage build and landing sleeps, you're in trouble. Like, that's a scary combo. So, Water Twins, I don't think is the safest team into this. I actually really like Susanoo, Stella, Megan to kill the Carcano right away. I find that being a pretty safe win. At least that's one I haven't lost with. And then I think last siege I showed you the Fran, Cocky, Betta one, which I think I had those monsters available, so I should have just used that. But again, I wasn't in the right state of mind. So anyways, 4 and 6, that is honestly the worst siege I've ever had. And brought my season win rate down quite a bit. I think my season win rate at this point is over 80%. I finally caught up. So I scrolling down to my contribution. Sag. Yeah, only 70. So I got some defense wins at least. What is that? 1 defense win? 15 times 4 is 60, so 2 defense wins. It was a rough one. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Again, these next few sieges I was in a better state of mind and performed better, but this was a rough one. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.